Java programming, how to do code easy. And here today we are going to see about inheritance. It is one of the main characteristics how Java has become very famous and still it is existing. So what is this inheritance means? Normally we know we do have parents, we do have grandparents, and we do have the ancestors also. So we do say that we will be inheritance is it is how we take up the properties of or characteristics of our ancestors. Okay. So similarly, here the concept inheritance is being developed in Java in a way that you will be having a class, and if you want to create the same operations of a class but with some other characteristics, then you can inherit that class with another class. Okay. So if you want some other classes to be created but with the characteristics of another class, then you can implement the inheritance concept. Now, inheritance in Java is the mechanism in which one object acquires all the properties and behavior of a parent object. Okay, in Java, a mechanism in which one object acquires all the properties and behaviors of a parent object. So you will be having a parent object, and from that you are going to derive a child object, and you are going to acquire all the properties and behaviors of the parent object, as well as the child will have its own characteristics along with the parent's characteristics. So additional characteristics and operations can be performed using this inheritance. Now here we need to know certain terms. Okay, here a class. Here a class, generally if you take a class will have its own properties and its own templates, its own methods, its own member variables. Now you want to know what is superclass and what is subclass. So what is the superclass means? The class from which you are going to derive. Okay, the class from which you are going to derive, it is said to be the superclass. For example, you have derived the characteristics of your parents. So your parents become the superclass. Okay. Now you have become the child class or the subclass because you have derived all the characteristics from them. That's already built class available, but you have derived the characteristics in you. So such kind of classes is called as subclass. So in the case of inheritance, the main thing to be noted is two kinds of classes. One is your subclass and another one is the superclass. So superclass is nothing but, or it is already otherwise called as parent class, that is a class which is derived, which is being derived. It is called as a superclass. It is also called as base class. Generally we call it as base class in Java. And subclass, the class which is derived, is called as a subclass, and it is also called as extended class. It is also called as the extended class or derived class. Extended class or derived class. Now, what is this class? How it is going to help you? Now, this existing class is called as the parent class, superclass or base class, and the derived class is called as the child class or subclass or derived class. Now, as the name implies, child is going to inherit the characteristics of the parent. That is, the child class inherits the methods, data defined in the parent class. Okay, it inherits the method data which is already available in the parent class. So what is the need of this type of inheritance means? This type of inheritance help you for a software developer to reuse a sequence of statements. Okay, this type of inheritance and the methods in the super and the subclasses helps a software developer to reuse a sequence of statements. So inheritance allows a software developer to reuse classes by deriving a new class from an existing one. Now, what is this inheritance relationship? Totally we can show it with the help of a diagram. Okay, totally we can show it with the help of a diagram. See here we have a class. Here we have a class diagram. This is the diagrammatical representation of a class. This is the diagrammatic representation of a class. Now here the animal class we have and we have bird class. We have created two classes, animal and bird. Now I have created two classes and there is an arrow mark here. What does this arrow mark denotes means? The arrow denotes to the parent class. Okay, the arrow denotes to the parent class. So what does this inheritance show? Inheritance shows the is a relationship. Oh, shows the is a relationship between the classes. Now here animal class I have created and bird class is the one of the child class of your animal class, and so for that I have represented an arrow mark towards your animal class. Now here how to write the same in a diagrammatic representation you have represented like this. But if you want to represent it with the help of coding, so how to represent? We want to represent it with the help of coding. How to represent? Diagrammatically, we can represent everything. But in the case of coding, how to represent? You can represent the coding with the help of this. This is the syntax of writing the class inheritance. So class, so see here, this is the syntax. Now see, here you have to give two things. One is subclass name and another one is superclass name. Okay, one is subclass name, another one is superclass name. So what is the subclass name? Here you have to note down a keyword extends. Here you have to note down the keyword extends. Now I'll show you an example. See, we have seen that example animal and bird. Animal is the parent class and bird is the, for example, instead of bird you can take any cat or tiger, anything you can take. So you can take cat. Animal is the parent class and cat is the subclass. So how you will be writing? Class cat extends animal. Class cat extends animal. So inside that you can write the thing. So I'll be explaining the same with the help of examples now.